This video is about how I slipcast these black porcelain mugs from 3D printed ceramic objects. I'll do another video on how I actually made the mold. These molds are really complicated modular system, so just getting them together is super fun. But I will do another video on how I made this mold. This was one piece mold that I chopped up into sections so that I could rearrange them, and instead of getting just the same cup each time, I can get a different cup every single time. It can take a while to find an arrangement that's going to work both visually and as a functional object and just as a mold. You got to make sure there's not too big of a gap you can't fill somewhere, or too big of an overhang you're not going to be able to pull this later once it has set up and is ready. Once I find a setup I'm happy with, I'll stick a band around it just so when I do put the slip in there, it doesn't just all push out. Try to get it back to something I like. Really trying to situate. Sometimes you gotta grab a shim or something, apply pressure at different points, but really you're just trying to get all of this situated the way you like it. I like to take a bottle of the same slip I'm going to cast with. I learned this from a visiting artist when I was at the university, and take that slip and fill in all these cracks that I know are going to be problems, especially like over there where that shim is. It's so thin of a mold there, the way those connect, that just put a lot of slip in beforehand, let it sit up some, and give me a little bit better of a chance of this working. Here I'm just taking it, going around the entire bottom seam of the mold. That way nothing just leaks out the bottom, and those pieces of plaster stay in place as I'm pouring. And this little chunk of black clay you see me sit there, that is for when this inevitably leaks somewhere, I have some clay right there on standby to plug the hole with. Now I fill it with slip. This is a black porcelain I really like. I fill it about halfway because I had a bad feeling about a couple spots, and as you can see I'm already packing clay in it to avert some leaks. So before I put all of that slip in it and add that extra weight, plug some holes, a little bit of damage control, fill it the rest of the way up to the top. On these I let them set for 12 minutes before pouring them out. Just taking my time, really looking over it, making sure there's no small leaks. As expected, that corner right there was a problem. This is the most clay I'd packed into one in a while. Once 12 minutes have passed, dump it out, get all that extra slip out of there, and then set it to the side for a few hours to dry. be a delicate process where it's not a simple one or two part or even multiple parts. It's this modular system that doesn't really fit together. So this is time consuming, a lot of trimming and loose prying, and it definitely takes some practice, but the results once you get it down are incredible. Now that I have the whole cup free from the mold, I'll take it off that bottom piece of plaster, put it over to dry, and once it's ready, it'll go into a kiln. And that is how I slipcast these cups, and I will make another video on how I made that first mold to start